If your team is struggling in your business, then your business is struggling.
So at all levels, I like to know each and every one of my people.
Of course, as a business owner, an entrepreneur, you want to make money, but investing in your people is like putting cash in your business. When you're getting good reviews for your business, it's a reflection of you. It's a reflection of your leadership. If you're not getting good reviews, if you're not getting a great customer experience, people are saying bad things about you, it is your fault as a leader. You need to take steps to correct it. But if you're an employee and you feel like your leadership invests in you, they'll help you train, they help you learn, and they care about what you care about and give you opportunities, then you're going to give back. So as a leader, give that to your employees. There is a correlation between improving the staff to the customer reviews to the revenue. Anytime you improve your staff, they care about what they're doing. So it's natural that they're going to get better reviews from the people that they're working with. The more reviews are like gold. The more reviews you have, the higher the revenue goes up. We see it day in, day out with our clients. On the Sprint Podcast, we want to find insights for high performers. So you started as an athlete, a high-performance athlete in baseball. Now you transitioned to business owner, entrepreneur. So tell us, how that transition happened?
Well, my goal was not for my baseball career to end, obviously. I did a good couple years in the minor leagues and then was just the time ran its course and it wasn't my time, wasn't my spot. So I had to figure out what I was going to do next. So the franchising world kind of jumped in right in front of me, and through a couple of different brands, landed here at Altitude. And, taking the lessons that I learned and a lot of things that go into building a strong team, I apply to my management team at each location, being able to take the unpredictables as they come, find a solution collectively, and deliver results on those solutions.
Let's talk about the unpredictability, because in Sprint, it's always about facing uncertainty, handling chaos, because in business and in life, you're a family guy, you understand that everything is not clear-cut, the path laid out is not really certain. So how do you deal with adversity and uncertainty?
Well, if you take a look around at any altitude, it's pretty much controlled chaos, but there are variables that we have to make sure are pillars that we rely on, making sure that the business follows those expectations when it comes to safety and experience. If we keep those at the forefront, any of the unpredictable things that we run into, we're going to be able to manage. Utilizing your team that has strong characteristics, and whether it's leading their team or whether it's time management or being held accountable, it's finding everyone's strengths, being able to pull them out and produce results, especially in a chaotic environment, because the quicker you can keep a positive attitude and roll with the punches, the better off you're going to be.
If you want to grow, you have to be willing to learn. That's true of the leadership and true of the employees. The best leaders I know, they are open to input from everybody. That doesn't mean they always take it, but it means that they're open to learning new things. They read books, they do trainings, and they listen to all of their team, because generally they just want that feedback. They want to improve. That's a core theme. It should be true of the employees as well. The worst employees that I've hired, that I've worked with, and that I've witnessed with other companies is that they refuse to learn. They have a mentality that they know enough. But it's just, that doesn't work anymore. You have to have that growth mindset. You have to be willing to learn every day. And the best leaders, they don't have to be experts in everything, but they have to have that key attribute, that they're willing to learn. A core principle that we talk about in our trainings is time management. So you have a staff of 40 plus. How important is it to manage them and help them understand the importance of managing time?
Right. We get packed facilities that run on time, so we have to be in tandem with that. We need to make sure the guests that are coming in at certain cadences and certain schedules, we're accommodating them in the exact same platform. We need to make sure that our management is in place where it needs to be. We need to make sure our court monitors are in place where they need to be. And it's not necessarily just for safety and oversight, but just to enhance the experience and make sure that people are having a great time.
Right. So the team needs to feel included and supported, but they also need to know what their responsibilities are. So communication is kind of a theme behind that. How do you communicate to your team so they understand the expectations for themselves and their role at Altitude?
So at all levels, I like to know each and every one of my people. I might not remember their name, but I'll remember their face, shake their hand, let them know what they're doing well. And if there's something I don't see, we'll coach together. We'll talk with their manager. We'll all sit down and talk about it. But I like to get to know the people that are going to be a part of my business, because without them, I have no success. They're an extension of my entire company, and I couldn't be successful with any of these locations without a strong core team.
Scaling your business isn't easy. You have to have the right model, the right product, and the right team. If you don't have all three of those, then you're likely to fail. It's very difficult to go from one location, if you're a franchise, you have a brick and mortar location, to 5 to 10 to 20. And the same applies to if you have a product. You need the right model. That's number one. If you have the right model, then everything else flows from that. A lot of business owners make a mistake that if they think they have the right model, but the second part is where they get into trouble. They might have the right model, but they have a bad product or the wrong product or an inferior product. So you've got to have a great product. So if you don't have a product, then it's the service. You got to have a great service that is operating under that model. The last part is you have to have the right team. Our team helps you institute the right business model in your operations, and we've had some amazing results from B2B and B2C. We want to help you do the same.
Make sure that they have a voice, they're heard when things aren't going well. I want to make sure that they're rewarded when things do go well, but they feel a part of a bigger thing than a 9-to-5 job they just punch in and punch out for.
It's a great point, though. You have to have your team bought in. I'm sure you've worked and you've been in situations where some boss or some owner or some person that you have to report up to, they're just not great leaders because they only care about the bottom line. Results, revenue is important. How do you balance the need to have results, but also to take care of your team and to handle situations where maybe you don't have the results?
Yeah, it's a tough balance because there are a lot of high-level responsibilities that are just my time and my focus, but there's a balancing act between them both that you must maintain. Without what's going on here and making sure that they know the expectations that they have, we're having daily conversations with our management team. We're having weekly manager meetings with touch points on things that we need to make sure are at the forefront, whether it's a new initiative, whether it's a safety concern, whether it's pricing changes. I need to make sure that they know that, but I also have to find that balance for myself to look at it from that C level and say, hey, where are we driving results? Are we getting the results we're looking for? And where do we need to make some, maybe some adjustments?
Speaking of teams, there are 3 things that will kill your business if you don't have them. Lack of alignment will kill your company. You might think that you're on the same page as your partners or your employees, but if you're not, then it's going to tear your business apart. It happened to me in my marketing business I had 10 years ago. We thought we were aligned, but we didn't understand each other's roles. We didn't understand what we were going to be doing after we reached a level of success. And we disagreed, and it cost us a lot of money, tore us apart, and there are a lot of legal disagreements. So make sure that your team is aligned, not just right now or next week, but for the future. The other part is lack of accountability. When our team helped a tech startup grow from 0 enterprise customers to 150, some of our teammates that we worked with had lack of accountability. They had a "it's not my job" mentality, and that kind of team sucks. They're just going through the motions and doing their work for a paycheck. The high performance teams that we want to create, that we help create here with Sprint, are the ones that take accountability for their actions. And it's not just their roles. They're able to step outside of the roles and do extra work, and the leadership understands that, and they're also there to get their hands dirty and get the job done. A mentality that you want to have on a high performance team is the ability to learn. If you have employees that they're like, oh, it's not my job, that they don't want to learn, they only have the scope of their job and everything else is an annoyance and bother, then you need to get rid of them. The key principle is the ability and willingness to learn. One thing I've learned too is that although you can give certain people the opportunity to learn new skills, even if they're willing to, sometimes they can't. Maybe it's the wrong role, it's not the right fit, and sometimes people just don't have the level of intelligence that you need them to for the role. There's a way to get around that, but we have to face the facts for a high performance team.
For your team, how do you train?
All hands on, man. I love doing the role playing. I love being here and talking to them, walking through it. I empower them with some training freedoms because they're going to come with different, management styles and operation styles from jobs they've had in the past. Let's tap into that. I don't want to ever pretend to know everything.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the dumbest guy in the room, but I love learning. So if I hear other managers or even some of our day-to-day staff have a way that they've done a training procedure or a training manual or something on the online that they use for other businesses, let's check it out. Let's see if that's something that could help us. But the biggest thing I really want to do is make sure people role play, because you got to understand your customer. You got to know the people. You got to get to talk to the people. And what we want to do more than anything is empower the young audience and the young team members that we have to feel confident in what they're talking about. We'll teach them all the altitude stuff, but we want to give them the skills to be able to communicate in a positive and a proactive way to make sure the message that they have is getting to the audience that they're trying to talk to.
What it sounds like too is that when you take a look at your staff, you're training them as a whole individual versus, hey, this is your job as a role. You're putting a complete training around them and developing them as a person.
Exactly. We want to make sure that everybody's cross-trained in this basic skills of just communicating and feeling confident in what you're talking about. can be transferable from every position that we have within our business. I like to utilize we'll call them a crop, as the future managers or leaders in our business potentially, but in another business if that's what they choose to do. We love to farm within and find people that really stand out and say, hey, this guy's got what it takes, or this young lady has what it takes. Let's find a role that we can plug them in and see what they're capable of and really drive the business. And sometimes I get surprised and I'm like, well, I missed that one. But then a lot of times I'm like, you know what? Let me run this past my management team because they have a good sense of the leadership qualities and characteristics we're looking for to be able to develop, and we're like, yeah, you got a good one here. Let's pour some secret sauce on that, and let's see what they're capable of.
If your team is struggling in your business, then your business is struggling. You've got to get your team aligned and motivated. Without that, they're not going to care about driving that revenue. The worst business owners and the leadership team, if they don't have that backing of their team, then they're going to be perceived as a tyrant CEO that all they care about is driving revenue, and they don't really care for the goodwill of their team. Sprint is all about creating great teams, high performance teams. So our workshops are designed to train a team so that they care about the business and that they contribute to the ultimate bottom line.
A core thing that we teach in Sprint is continuous improvement, continuous learning.
Yep.
And it seems like that you guys share that principle. So thinking of that, how do you address feedback? Because say you do a training, say 2 weeks go by, and you learn some things, you test. How do you address feedback? There's constructive feedback, there's self-feedback, there's feedback from obviously the community. How do you use feedback to improve?
I'm very humble. If I don't get feedback, I feel like people just don't want to tell me what they're really thinking. So I encourage the feedback. I want to know, hey, this could be done better. What about this? Because if not, it just gets complacent and you think you got it all figured out, and you'll become irrelevant when it comes to how you train. I like to be a little bit on the forward side of things where there's new teaching opportunities, new training styles, different ways to do things. We did icebreakers at our Bradenton location that I've never seen before we even started doing interviews and training, just playing games, getting people to loosen up a little bit. And we were really surprised at what was able to come out of them once they were more comfortable in the setting that they were going to be trained on the job. It was just a really cool tactic. So learning from my management team, I mean, we have, I think, 4 or 5 of our managers within our organization here to help celebrate, but also train from different perspectives that they see something because they experience the same but different opportunities at their location. So we like to get everybody under one roof at least once in a while to share those processes or improvements and ways to evolve our training, because if we don't, we'll miss something. We will. We got to always, it's not saying there's always something wrong, it's just saying there's always some way to improve.
You have to have that awareness.
Absolutely.
To dig into it. Some people like to just kind of work blindly.
Yeah.
What is the biggest obstacle managing a franchise?
Man, that's a loaded question.
I know. Let's see where you take it.
Okay, that's a really good question. I'm going to actually just touch on a few things. The first one is not really as exciting, but it's navigating the inherent risk of our business in the insurance world. We got to find a balance of what's safe and what's still fun for the guests. Insurance is a necessary evil. There's not a whole lot of accountability for the insurance companies to say why their rates are going the way that they do, but we can't worry about that because we have businesses to run. So how do we adapt our businesses to make sure that we're accounting for the regulations and the cost and still offering an awesome product to our guests? The other one is the evolution of our industry. The first trampoline parks were like in a warehouse, a bunch of trampolines just kind of tied together, and now we're looking at virtual reality, augmented reality, interactive gaming. So we got to keep up with the times too and continue to push it. Yeah, I mean, we don't want to be the dinosaur out there, but we also want to make sure that we're vetting the relationships and the new vendors that are coming into the system to make sure that their product's what we're looking for. It's something that everyone can enjoy, not just one age bracket. It's safe because that takes us back to that first point about the insurance and the liability and things of that sort. So those are the biggest two. And then 3 is just navigating just the real estate world. We want to continue to grow, but we're looking at the same boxes that everybody else is. 25,000 square feet to 30,000 square feet, high ceilings. A lot of them MEPs are already in place, and then bringing a new business to the town that you want to go into.
Yeah.
So that's a real big challenge. But if you don't do things right and position yourself for when luck's ready to show its face, you won't be ready. So we always want to be ready, so when luck's ready to shine down on us, we can grab it.
One of the benefits of Sprint and sprints in general that we apply to businesses is that it helps you uncover your problems. and helps you uncover the solutions to those problems. Some of the business owners that we've worked with don't know that they have a problem until we get to work and we uncover it. And that's kind of the value, is understanding, if you understand the nature of your problems, then the solutions become much more clear.
And so how many locations? Is this your first one? Do you have other locations?
This is
as well?
number 5, actually.
Number 5,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And all of your locations are in Florida, right?
Correct, yeah. This is the furthest away from, well, I don't want to say furthest away from home. I live in Tampa, but we have Kissimmee, Sanford, Bradenton, Spring Hill, and then West Palm Beach. So this is our first East Coast opportunity, our furthest away. I mean, you guys spoke to Liz. We put a powerhouse GM in place. So that gives us that level of comfort to be able to have oversight from afar and not necessarily be as hands-on. But for me, I try to be as hands-off and let them learn their business, grow their business, but I'll give them oversight, and where I can plug in some knowledge, I will. But I want them to take pride in what they're doing and really feel empowered to run their business.
How'd you go from 0 to 5? Because, like, what was the timeline? Because that's impressive that,
Yeah.
you know, it's a big location, it's a big operation.
2020 to 2025. So one
every year.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a
We've
good
been
one.
fortunate. Like, we built our first one after COVID. The second one we acquired from some franchisees that wanted to go do something different. Our third one we built from the ground up. It's a beautiful park. Spring Hill is a location that closed from a different brand, and we gutted it out and we put the altitude pizzazz inside Spring Hill and dressed it up. You know, we had to reintroduce it into the market with the new styles, the new memberships, the new cleanliness standards, safety standards, all that. And then we did the same thing here in West Palm. There was a different brand that was here, and it just wasn't working for them. And I think that they had an idea that was going to be a little bit more absentee, where these businesses are hands-on.
Yeah.
If you want to be absentee, you got to have a home run, like director of operations, general manager, and really trust them. And I have those feelings for my team, but I like to be a part of it
You
too.
have to be involved,
It's
right?
an industry that sells fun. You can't beat that. What else? I mean, what's better than that? Like selling ice cream, maybe, and that's it.
Well, so for, say who's listening to this, maybe there's somebody that's an employee or an entrepreneur, but they're looking to transition like you did.
Yep.
Maybe they want to open a franchise.
Yep.
What is, if there could be one recommendation or one insight that's going to help them do it at a high level like you have?
So the thing that really shocks a lot of people is when I got done playing baseball, the next path for me was unwritten. I didn't know what I was going to do, and I just enjoyed working out, so I went to the local Planet Fitness and got a job. And I just did my job the best that I could, because that's how my parents raised me. If you're going to do something, commit to it and do as best you can, because you never know who's watching. It worked for me when I was playing baseball, because I would always the smaller guy, so I had to give it everything I had, and I always took it as like any of these adults in the crowd could be a scout for a college, could be a scout for a pro team, so I gave everything I had and always did it with the idea of someone, you never know who's watching. So when I was at Planet Fitness, I obviously didn't know who was watching, because the franchise owner noticed everything that I was doing, and I was very quickly given a management opportunity, and I'd never managed before, but I was like, if you teach me, I'll give you everything that I got and do as best I can. It was actually right here in Palm Beach Gardens, believe it or not.
So it sounds like you were just committed to excellence from the beginning.
Well, I don't know about excellence, but putting in my best effort. Now,
Right.
if someone else looks at it as excellence, then I love it. That's great. But I just wanted to give everything I had to something, because like I said earlier, if you position yourself for that little glimmer of luck that just shines on you when you're ready, if you're not positioning yourself in it, you'll miss it. And that's what I put myself into, and was able to meet the right people, create the right relationships, and be given an incredible opportunity. So,
It's amazing. Well, thank you for sharing your
yeah, this is
great
fun.
podcast. Yeah,
Thanks
it's
for
great.
having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks.